Good evening and welcome to the first of two meetings tonight. My name is Dennis Buckley, Mayor of the City of Beech Grove. And at this time, we will convene our Board of Sanitation meeting for Tuesday, January the 16th, 2018. In lieu of a roll call, I will ask each participant to introduce themselves, beginning on my far right.
Dave Harrison.
Dan McMillan, Clerk Treasurer.
Greg Wiley, City Attorney.
Thank you, Board. You have been presented a printed copy of the minutes of the previous meeting dated Tuesday, January the 2nd, 2018. The floor is open for any questions, comments, or corrections.
I have no questions.
If there's no questions, comments, or corrections, I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
And I second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. This evening, Board, we have 3 pages of wastewater claims in the amount of $258,121.83. The floor is open for any questions or comments.
I have none.
No questions or comments. I'll ask for a motion to approve the wastewater claims dated January the 16th, 2018, in the amount of $258,121.83.
I'll make said motion.
I second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. We have no unfinished business to carry over from the previous meeting. We have no new business this evening. Comments from board members?
I have none.
No comments. I'll ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make said motion.
I second. The meeting is adjourned at 6:02 p.m. We will convene our Board of Public Works and Safety meeting in 5 minutes. Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the second and final meeting tonight. My name is Dennis Buckley, Mayor of the City of Beech Grove, and at this time we will convene our Board of Public Works and Safety meeting for Tuesday, January the 16th, 2018. In lieu of a roll call, I will ask each participant to introduce themselves, beginning on my far right.
Dave Harrison.
Dan McMillan, Clerk Treasurer.
Craig Wiley, City Attorney.
Thank you, Board. You have been presented a printed copy of the minutes dated Tuesday, January 2nd, 2018. The floor is open for any questions, comments, or corrections.
I have a question. GAI Consultants, I know there's like 9 payments to them for the roundabout.
Wait till we get through the minutes first.
I'm on the wrong thing, aren't I? Go ahead. I have no questions on the minutes, I'm sorry.
If there's no questions, comments, or corrections, I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I make said motion.
I second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. This evening, Board, we have 11 pages of corporate claims in the amount of $1,360,397.70. The floor is open for any questions or comments.
Well, since I've been looking at this for 10 minutes, I guess now I'll ask. GAI Consultants for the roundabout, is that the start of that roundabout? Or?
It is, but it's from the work last year.
Yeah, they held back, Bill. The city didn't budget enough last year, so GAI continued to work and do environmental, and basically they were okay with us holding back their bills. So once we clicked into a new budget, we then processed all the bills from 17.
But that's not scheduled to, is that scheduled to be done in 19? Or?
Yes, next year.
Okay.
It lets in July of 19.
Okay, that's what I was wanting to ask. I have no other questions.
But what we budgeted this year should take us all the way up to all that would need to be budgeted for next year's construction.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments from board members?
I have no more.
If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the corporate claims dated January 16th, 2018 in the amount of $1,360,397.70.
I'll make said motion.
I second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you. We have no unfinished business to carry over from the previous meeting. Under new business, we have several items tonight. The first item is handicap parking permit renewals, and I'll defer to the clerk. We have several tonight, and just read the names into the record, and we'll do them all as one renewal.
The first one is Brandy Schmidt. Next one is Dennis Harris. Kathy Arsenault. James McGuire. His was on there last month or last meeting, you approved it. He is asking for a second spot. Tom Springer, Martha Clayton, Barbara Stoltz, Ed Bell, and Kimberly McCain.
Floor is open for any questions or comments.
I have none.
No questions or comments. I'll ask for a motion to approve all of the parking permit applications brought forward this evening.
I'll make said motion.
I second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you. Next order of business is change order number 7, Churchman Avenue Sidewalk Project. And this is a change order. If you go to page 2, we, in the comment section, we approved change order number 6 at the last, either the last meeting or the meeting before. This replaces change order number 6, so this becomes change order 7. And the reason for the change is the price came in cheaper than what they thought. So it came in $194.20 cheaper than what was listed on change order 6. So that's another small savings for the project. So that has to be approved this evening, and we have to sign off on it. So is there any questions or comments?
No, I have none.
You see where I'm at?
Yeah. No, I'm good.
There's not any other questions or comments concerning change order number 7. I'll ask for a motion to approve.
I'll make motion to approve change order number 7.
I second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Tomorrow, Brad, do you want to pick this up?
Sure.
Okay. We'll make a copy for our record. Thank you. Next order of business is from the fire department to rechassis ambulance 58. Chief?
Mayor and Board, at this time, we've completed our specifications to rechassis Ambulance 58. I would like to request permission to publish the notice to bidders. The time frame for the bid to rechassis will take approximately 6 months. The City of Beech Grove will reserve the right to accept or reject all bids during this process. And on the back of my letter, I attached the notice to bidders, and throughout it, you can see the time frame for this process. This should give us ample time for Dan to publish in the legal notice for us and be in compliant with state law.
Okay, so is this same as in the past? They would come here and pick up the packet? Or?
This is exactly as in the past. They would come here to City Hall. We gave them just over a 2-week time frame, and the bidders would have to give a $50 non-refundable fee, and that includes the process. Help reimburse the city for the time, supplies, the legal notice, etc. And actually, we'll probably just have several people come in, put a bid. We'll still take a loss on it because it's quite expensive to publish in the paper, but it does help recoup some of the cost.
So when would you want this to, okay, if they pick up packets on the 5th of March, when would you want it advertised?
I'd like to have it advertised 3 weeks in advance.
Oh,
And
what would that be?
Craig, is there
Third
any
week?
changes that I'm unaware of for the publication?
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Is there any changes with the
Not that I'm
publication
aware of.
rules in 3 weeks in advance?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, thank you.
There may be a typo in this. Did you read it?
I have to put my glasses back on, Dave.
It said bids will be open on April 16, 2018, 2016 at 6 p.m.
Oh, okay. I'll take out the 2016 and I'll turn it back in to Dan for resubmission.
Dave, you have any questions or comments?
No?
If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the request to publish notice to bid for a refurb of an ambulance.
I'll make said motion.
I second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Chief, next up, request to hire.
Mayor and Board, I come before you today to ask for approval to hire Michelle Saunders. Michelle will be a new firefighter that will provide even staffing across all 3 shifts. Michelle is a certified EMT paramedic and has completed all prerequisites for hiring. Michelle will attend the February Indianapolis Fire Department recruit class. If approved, Michelle's pay will be $2,128.11 per pay period and start February 11th, 2018.
Let me start. Back when, after we did the budget, that's when we had our conversation about bringing someone else on, and I questioned whether or not, privately, whether or not the money was appropriated for it. So, and then, a little while later, I don't know how long, Dan and I was talking in Dan's office, and he asked me the same question. And I said, that was a question I had. I don't know if that was, if we budgeted for that. And then I think I've told you a couple times that I don't mind approving this request. However, there's not any money available, in my opinion, I don't know about anybody, it's just my opinion, to move forward with this. So if you want to do this, I don't mind doing it, but you're going to have to come up with another way to do it.
Okay, and I'd like to ask the board to consider this also. With Michelle, her first pay, she'd come in and receive 22 pay periods during 2018. With her salary be roughly around $46,000 for the year. That's discounting any benefits. As the clerk treasurer will tell you, it costs money to have these people insured. It costs for liability insurance. It costs money to hire employees, and we understand that. If you take a look at the revenue stream for our ambulance services, for if you want to take an example for 2017, the city budgeted revenue for $1,094,000. In 2017, the ambulance service brought in $1,281,229. That was an excess of $187,229 for 2017. When Peters takes a look at our budget, he takes a look at that revenue, see what we're bringing in, so they can kind of plan for 2018. So when you take a look at the miscellaneous revenue for 2018, Peters increased that amount. He goes, hey, the ambulance is proven, it's doing well. We anticipate this money to be a good stream of revenue. So he anticipated $1,243,000 for this year. If we go off the 2017 budget, that's an increase of $38,000 right there that we're looking at, that would give money to the city to help fund this employee. When you take a look at our ambulance revenue in the ambulance streaming, the trend is on the upward spike. We are still making the ambulance runs. We're still going out there doing what this department needs to do to keep that revenue stream going. Next month, I'm going to present to the city council another avenue for revenue streaming. I contacted MedBill. MedBill takes care of all of our ambulance billing, and they're really good at taking a look at where our revenue stream is coming in from. There's only so much money that the state that you can receive from Medicare, Anthem. Those numbers are set. We have our current ambulance rates, and they're decreased for residents of the city. When you take a look at the countywide and the state model for ambulance service delivery, we're one of the very few cities that break down a separate rate for its citizens. And when I asked MedBill to take a look at this, they said, well, our concern is you're providing the same service, you're charging different rates for the same service. That could be a red flag for Medicare and Anthem in the future. So I asked her, well, we don't want to cause any burden to our citizens because they do live here, we provide the service, we don't want to increase their rate. What can we do? And speaking of Derica, she said, well, let me give you an example. If we would increase our in-city rate the same as our out-of-city rate, and you take a look at the insurance pays, vehicle accidents, etc., she said, taking 2017's numbers, if you implemented the rates across the board for everybody, we left a total of $368,524 we could have received in revenue if we would just had the same rates across the board. I told her, I said, I will definitely bring this up, present to the city council, help increase that revenue stream, but still not cause a burden to the Beech Grove taxpayers. That's the one thing, our primary goal has been since the start, not to cause any excess burden to the citizens. So just by keeping the rate across the board, in city, out of city, being able to gain that revenue from the private insurance, off 2017's numbers, that's $368,000 of increased revenue for the city. So I'm sure somewhere, that it's just the right thing to do. It's a good program. Cost of expense always goes up. I'm sure we, just try and do our part to get that revenue stream going, keep our staffing where it needs to be to provide the service we need to.
The ambulance rates, as long as we've been sitting here, we never wanted to put an increased burden on the citizen of Beech Grove. What happens outside of Beech Grove is one thing, but we wanted to try to hold the line on the people that live here. As I told you today, push all that aside. With your budget, I don't mind doing this, but it's going to have to be done from within your budget. I can't, I don't want you to come to the council and ask for an appropriation for more money for category one. I won't sign, they set the budget, and if you can do this from within your budget, then I will support it. If not, I don't know what to do. I just think that, I think this is the best way to do it. Dave, what do you think?
Well, I would assume so. I do have a question on what he's talking about. As far as the in-service for Beech Grove, and I know you don't, you may look at it different, but, insurance companies, and this is just food for thought, and I don't know if it could be done. Insurance companies, what they do, I mean, and I'm sure you know this, if you're insured with XYZ company, they're gonna pay more than, per se, I mean, if you go to the hospital and they see you have insurance, they're gonna charge you usually more than what the person does that doesn't have insurance. Is that correct? No? I mean, that's always been in my experience.
So you're saying that
I mean, do you ever have ambulance runs where we just get stiffed?
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
of course.
I mean,
We have people who can't pay.
and what about those that have to pay on their own? Do they,
The self-pays,
yeah. There are a lot of those pay though?
a lot of them do. They do self-pay, and they set up different payment forms with MedBill themselves.
So I mean, what my point is, if you have somebody that's a self-pay, you can't charge them less than the person that has the insurance, that's gonna get billed through the insurance?
Well, we do that now from the in-city, out-city rates.
I mean, in city though.
In cities, the same flat rate. They get billed one rate, whether they have insurance or if they're self-paid, they're the same rate.
I mean, is it illegal to do that though? My point is it illegal to bill somebody in Beech Grove the same as it is somebody outside of Beech Grove? And the person inside Beech Grove, like myself, has insurance. I don't really give a damn if you bill them, whatever you bill them.
Right. I think that's,
See what I'm saying?
that's one of the things that Derica tried to say in a polite rate. Right now, the city has two separate rates. We're building out of city one rate, in city one rate. If outside ambulance comes in, they're gonna get billed a higher rate than what we would bill.
All right.
So when you take a look at it, if our ambulance goes just across the street and picks someone else up and they have insurance, we're gonna bill them a higher rate, but if they live across the street, it's gonna be lower. So she's saying you might wanna take a look at what you're doing, make sure the rates are even across the board. That way you're not getting in the weeds with anything with,
But on
Medicare.
insurance, it's called redlining,
Yeah.
and you can get in trouble. I don't know.
Well, that's
This,
why, Dave, I asked for him to address the council on it,
Yeah.
to do that.
But as far as this person here, shouldn't the council approve that then? No?
No, I'm talking about the rates now.
Right, okay.
The council would approve the rates.
Right.
What I'm saying is, we'll let I want him to make a presentation to the council at their next meeting to see if the council's interested in doing this.
Okay.
If they're interested in doing it, we'll do it, provided that if there's no extra cost borne by the citizen of Beech Grove. That's my outlook.
Right, I understand.
Maybe that's a little fuzzy, but that's my take on it. I don't mind doing it if Medicare, if it's the same rate for Beech Grove Medicare and Indianapolis Medicare, well, then it's kind of a moot point. Why, you might as well go ahead and do it, provided the ratepayer in Beech Grove doesn't have to come up with money. That's my point.
Right.
From an employment standpoint, that's up to the board, and my contention is, if we approve this, he has to do it from within his current budget. I don't,
My comment on the entire thing is, we're mixing apples and oranges. The ambulance rates have nothing to do with the employment of this individual. And I don't want to get to the point of where our ambulance is paying a salary. I went over and I brought budgets here tonight for the fire department, and everything I've seen, the fire department budget cannot support this employee. I don't know when the next recruit class is after this. You know, if it's 6 months from now, we need to look at it at that time. And then, you know, put it in the 19 budget. But my recommendation would be to deny this.
Rob, any provisions that where you could do this from your budget?
There's no additional money in category one that I see for a new personnel. It would have to be generated from other funding. There's nothing in our operational budget for that amount that we have to cut. And that's just being upfront with you. Employees are expensive.
And not only that, it's more than just a base pay, which he said earlier. I mean, you got liability insurance every time we hire an employee. You got perf, you got, you know, other benefits along the way. And the numbers I went through, I don't see it happening.
Well, I don't want to deny this, so why don't we just hold on to this till maybe we can come up with something over the next couple of weeks, and then go from there. But I would be open to a motion to table this temporarily, Dave.
Okay. Is this something that you really need, Rob?
Well, Dave, what this will allow us to do, it will give us 11 firefighters on shift. Right now, we approved Anthony Noble, and he'll be going to recruit class in February. When he gets out, that would leave us at 11 on one shift, 11 on another, and 10 on the last shift. So on that shift of 10, when you have two people on vacation, someone calls in sick, we'll be utilizing overtime. So that's another expense to city. If anyone's hurt or injured on that shift, again, that puts that shift down. And we're beginning that overtime cycle, which we try to avoid. And with us, currently our current staffing, you know, we utilize St. Francis, an excellent program that we have to help supplement staffing. But when they don't have an employee for Medic 57 to drive, you know, and our civilian paramedics on that truck, we've covered that position to make sure the ambulance is in service for the citizens. So that's definitely something that will impact our daily operations.
Dave, anything else?
No, that's all.
Motion to table.
I'll make said
I
motion.
second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. We'll pick this up another day.
All right, thank you.
All right. Next is hotel licensing and approval. Board, we have two motels that have renewed their license, La Quinta and Super 8. And then we've had one therapeutic massage business on Main Street called Ultimate Therapeutic Massage that has applied for licensing for this year. The police chief has investigated. Any comments, chief?
We've not had any runs that would be questionable to us
So your recommendation is,
to approve it.
okay, floor is open for any questions or comments.
Do I have,
You should have all three.
I don't have it either. The only one I got's this one here for the motel.
well, I have three different addresses for motels. Is there something?
Yeah, there's,
Oh, no, these two are the same, I see now. Okay. And then this here. All right, I got it. Yeah, I don't have any questions.
That's all right, I can get them from you tomorrow.
these are the ones the chief signed off on.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's here.
So we'll do, there's no further questions or comments. I'll ask for a motion to approve the two motel licenses.
I'll make
Super
said,
8 and Laquita.
I'll make said motion to approve.
I second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. And then I'll also need a motion to approve the license request for Ultimate Therapeutic Massage.
I'll make said motion.
I second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries.
I got a question. I don't know if it's for Dan or for the chief. Who has not submitted a license renewal request?
That'd be,
Hotels?
for motels.
Don't we have 5 in Beech Grove?
No, 3.
Three, yeah,
Motel 6.
yeah, Motel 6,
They're the
yeah.
one that hasn't?
Yeah. Compliance is actually handling these now. Yeah, the Holiday Inn Express is in Indianapolis, even though it's on the same road.
Okay, the last order of new business is approval for sewer locates, and I'll defer to the Public Works Director. Brad?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Board. Dear Board, it is my recommendation to the Board of Works that the city enter into an agreement with Samco to locate sanitary and stormwater utility lines. City of Beech Grove's Indiana 811 ticket count saw a 72% increase from 2016 to 2017 due to increasing regulations in the industry, and I have attached those numbers for your review. Currently, the City of Beech Grove is not properly staffed to handle the amount of 811 calls which come in on a 24-hour basis. When utilities are not properly located in a timely manner, it can result in fines such as the recent $900,000 fine against NIPSCO, which is the Northern Indiana Public Service Company, and I've attached a paper that also documents that incident. I've received proposals from both Samco and USIC and found Samco's to be the lowest cost per ticket proposal. There's currently money in the Sewage Works budget to fund this proposal. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns, and I appreciate your consideration in this manner.
Floor is open for any questions or comments.
What is exactly they're gonna be,
So we get requests to locate our sanitary and storm sewers, and they come in on a 24/7 basis, which we don't have a 24/7 operation really. They have 3 phone numbers currently, which is Phil's cell phone, John Biggs, and myself. And if it's 2 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, they start calling, and essentially if there are times we know, just based off our knowledge, that we don't have to locate them, and then there are times that we do need to come out and paint where our sanitary or storm sewers are, so that when they do their digs, they're aware of where it's at.
okay.
There are increasing regulations due to the amount of fiber that's now been placed in the ground. The whole industry is sort of tightening up. They're also moving towards this, even if it's a negative response, which is we don't have anything, you still have to respond going forward. They want pictures. It's just getting sort of overwhelming. And as I put in here with the numbers, in 2016, we had 1,374 dig tickets. In 17, we had 2,369. That's how much more the increased regulations have created as far as volume. So we can no longer staff doing what we're doing, sort of patching it together as we are, but they're now starting to levy fines. And if you don't locate your sewers or your storm or if you have electric or gas, now you're more open to being fined, which we obviously want to avoid. So we met with USIC and Samco. Almost every municipality now contracts this out unless you're staffed to handle it, which means you would have people on call 24/7. If Phil was doing it right, he would earn so much overtime from taking these weekend calls that he'd never be here during the week. So it's not something we can handle without either hiring somebody. It makes more sense to let these guys do it. And they're already there. Samco does citizens, so they're already there doing the locates for other utilities like gas, water. It makes sense to have them do our sewers. And they do they're equipped to do a much better job of pictures, documenting in, so that if there's ever an issue where someone says, well, you didn't locate it, their field technicians have all the equipment with GIS and everything to give you files upon files to say they were there and they did it. And then at that point, the liability's on them as well. So that's nice to have.
Isn't that how we get tipped off that there's something getting ready to happen as far as construction-wise?
Correct. Yeah, usually a dig ticket is created, and we'll still get those. It just won't be our responsibility to go out and do the locate. So yeah, the dig tickets usually kind of give you a heads up that work is coming. Someone's going to be in the ground doing something. It used to be less regulated, so a lot of times people didn't call in, but now, with the increased fines, and like I said, it's really due to the fiber, in my opinion, and from what I've heard from people in this industry. There is so much fiber optics in the ground now, and it's so expensive every time you hit one that they're really starting to come down on people now, and it's becoming an issue. So we don't want to get in a situation where we're not doing this properly and it comes back to haunt us later with something where it results in a big fine.
Dave, you have any questions?
No.
Brad, what is your recommendation? Sam?
Samco, yeah, they came in at $10 per ticket. USIC is $12 per ticket. Samco has a great reputation. They're actually more active locally. USIC is a more nationwide company, but Samco does citizens here locally. So if you look at the volume of tickets, you're looking at around $23,000 to $24,000 roughly based on 17's numbers. I don't know how much 18 could possibly increase. But I know in sewage works projects, we had money in there that we had talked about being able to use for this. And I think it just protects the city. I mean, the utility is something that you just don't want to have somebody come in and dig and hit something and then try to blame us.
Brad, on these tickets here, how many of these are residents calling in for 811? I know you don't have a
Yeah, I don't know the
ballpark
percentage.
number,
But it's a mixture of contractors and residents, and, it's a mixture of anybody that calls in that's going to be doing any digging.
okay, is there any way we could put some of this into our fees to help absorb some of this on an annual basis?
And permitting fees,
I would
Yes.
say yes.
I'd say it's possible, yeah.
I mean, I think it's something we need to look at because it's just money out the door otherwise.
Sure. Yeah, I think in the past, it's sort of hard to quantify what we were spending, and to give Phil a nod of respect, he just sort of took it on, but even he said that this is getting to be too much. I mean, they're calling, he got 4 calls this weekend, and the way the handbook's set up, everyone that he responded to, technically he gets a minimum overtime, and at some point that doesn't make sense. He's sort of the one-man sewer operation right now, which is a lot to ask as it is, so.
Where would the billing go to? I mean, where would the payment come from? Would it come from sewage works, or would it?
I think Sewage Works Projects was the appropriation. We thought there would be additional monies that we could pay for this out of. We went from 150 to 175 last year to this year, so the extra 25,000 maybe we could use to cover this. But part of it's stormwater as well, so you could split it because it's sanitary and storm that they're locating. So you have the stormwater appropriation, so you could do a 50-50 if you wanted to, pull the money from two different
So it would
places.
just be on a per case? I don't know. It just seems, I get this. But
Yeah, they bill monthly for that month's tickets, and then,
We've been paying for it all along. And it was minimal, I wanted to say at one time, I was thinking it was like 25, 35 cents but
Yeah, and that's a per ticket fee. This is actually to locate them, so this is through a different company. 811 would now call Samco for our locates, and this $10 per ticket is what we would pay to not have to then go out and locate our utilities every time someone digs. And then they would also, even when we don't have to, they would, it's called a negative response, and that's where the industry is headed. They're forcing you to even do that, and that is to just respond to say, we don't have anything in the area, and document that you said that. And so it's just, there's more and more work, basically, with this.
one other question. How long should we renew this annually, or should
I think so.
we just do it? It just automatically renews unless we want to change?
Yeah, USIC's was built to, I think you had to give them 30 days to terminate the agreement. But I think an annual to discuss it, or maybe even look at the progress to re-up it annually is probably a good idea.
Okay, so we should revisit this next January, or February, January. Okay. All right. Dave, you have any questions?
No, I'm good now.
If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the director's request to come into agreement with Samco to locate sanitary and stormwater utility lines.
I'll make said motion.
I second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries.
Thank you.
That concludes new business. In your packet, there was a copy, Dave, of the invoice for the MPO. We approved that this evening. Thank you to the clerk's office. Dan, thank you. Debbie, thank you. This is an important bill. The MPO has been very good to the city of Beech Grove, and we anticipate further funding from them. So it's extremely relevant that we are current on all of our dues, and we are. So kudos to everybody involved. Brad, thank you. And I look for another good year of funding through this organization. So I just wanted to tip my hat to everybody involved. That's pretty good. Any comments, Dave?
No, sir.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll make said motion.
I second. The meeting is adjourned at 6:46 PM. We will convene again on Monday, February the 5th at 6 PM. Thank you.